Present on agenda item 13, the development of a code of practice for the prevention and reduction of tropane alkaloids in foods and feed, CXCF1814. A quick background. The expert meeting of FAO-WHO in 2020 provided scientific advice on the risks of tropane alkaloids in foods. In CCF15 on Contaminants 2022, noted the need for follow-up actions based on the FAO expert meeting's advice. In CCF16 in 2023, established an electronic working group headed by China and co-chaired by Saudi Arabia to prepare a discussion paper on the need and feasibility of actions on TAs. In 2024, during CCF17, he reviewed the first discussion paper, CXCF24-17-11, prepared by the EWG, and re-established the EWG proposal and code of practice, proposed code of practice and project document for CCF18. Requested JACFA to issue a call for data on TA contamination in food and feed with guidance on sampling stages. What is requested from the experts for CCF18 to determine whether this information provided are enough to support the work for the COPs in regard to the contaminants in food and feed. If the answer, according to the decision to be taken in the next meeting, if the data are enough, the Committee of Contaminants will be requested to review the COP draft and to deliver it to the CAC 48 to be approved and evaluate the COP from structure, content, and improving points after approval of CAC, and to reconvene EWG to enhance the draft of Code of Practices preparing for CCF19 based on what is approved in the next meeting, CCF18. If the data provided are not enough, the discussion paper will need more improvements, and the Contaminant Committee will be requested to determine the needs with their data information to support the progress of EWG. For key points, content summary in the EWG. The EWG was formed, headed by China and co-chaired by Saudi Arabia, with participation of 23 countries and 3 organizations. The draft was circulated and the comments were gathered, included in the document from Brazil, China, France, Japan, Mexico, and USA. Most important points that are discussed: the title, and agreed on remaining the title as a comprehensive title. Also, treatment to include the feed in the document to treat health impacts on animal and to treat One Health principle, referring to COP CXC44/2004 to ensure consistency with international standards. Also tackling the future of the plants, but was postponed until more data are available, indicating the need for data processing and the need for more information about the levels of tropane alkaloid in the post-harvest and the treatment Also, the current session are needed for tracking and field management primary control strategy, referring that management of fields is the best method to reduce contamination of uh, damaging herbs, hazardous herbs. The conclusion in the very beginning, it included the new proposal, and comes from EWG based on previous meetings of the CCF17. The information available to develop code of practice, indicating the strategy of control instead of toxicity, and tropan alkaloid and the risks, mentioning the atropine as cobramine as most toxic. So there is need to control the risks, sources of exposure, contamination during storages. Also, tackling the control measures, referring to the importance of focusing on the control and sorting for maintaining the health of consumers through the different workshops that are held for training purpose. Also, the data of contaminants analysis in 2066 to 2023, showing the most contamination was in feed, spices, focusing on the impact of treatment. There is no enough evidence that treatment reduce these contaminants. Also, tackling the mitigation means to counter herbs, recycling, cleaning, awareness, recommendations, focusing on field management and supply chain, complemented by consumer education. The final recommendations during the meeting, sharing support for a new work proposal and the draft of code of practice sent to CAC 48. Confirm that the structure and focus area of the COP are enough and globally applicable. Suggest content refinements as needed. Support continued data calls. Agree to establish the EWG with an updated mandate to revise the COP and integrate feedback from CCF18